जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रजजनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रजजनरंजन। जमुना तीरा वनचारी। जमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jayong Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajacacharya Ashtatara Shatu Shri Srimad avahita-karaṇa-kalāpa Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जाय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जाय। श्री मथुरा धाम की जाय। श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जाय। श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जाय। गंगा माई की जाय। जमुना माई की जाय। भक्ति देवी की जाय। तुलसी महारानी की जाय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जाय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gaurango. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। श्रीमद् भागवतम 5th canto, 8th chapter. This chapter is entitled as Character of Bharat Maharaj. Text 22. āsādita-haviṣi barhiṣi dūṣite mayopālabdho bhīta-bhītaḥ sapady uparata-rāsa ṛṣi-kumāravat avahita-karaṇa-kalāpa āste. Okay, this is also in a prose form, so I'll just read it through. āsādita-haviṣi barhiṣi dūṣite mayopālabdho bhīta-bhītaḥ sapady uparata-rāsa ṛṣi-kumāravat avahita-karaṇa-kalāpa āste. Āsādita, blessed. Haviṣi, all the ingredients to be offered in the sacrifice. Barhiṣi, on the kuśa grass. Dūṣite, when polluted, maya upalabdha, being scolded by me, bhīta-bhītaḥ, in great fear, sapady, immediately, uparata-rāsaḥ, stopped its playing. ṛṣi-kumāravat, exactly like the son or disciple of a saintly person. Avahita, completely restrained. Karaṇa-kalāpaḥ, all the senses. Āste, sits. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. When I placed all the sacrificial ingredients on the kuśa grass, the deer, when playing, would touch the grass with its teeth and thus pollute it. When I chastised the deer by pushing it away, it would immediately become fearful and sit down motionless, exactly like a son of a saintly person. Thus, it would stop its play. Please repeat after me. When I placed all the sacrificial ingredients on the kuśa grass, the deer, when playing, would touch the grass with its teeth and thus pollute it. When I chastised the deer by pushing it away, it would immediately become fearful and sit down motionless, exactly like the son of a saintly person. Thus it would stop its play. Purport, it's a very short purport by Srila Prabhupada. Bharat Maharaj was constantly thinking of the activities of the deer, forgetting that such meditation and diversion of attention was killing his progress in spiritual achievement. So, this is the story or history of one of the most illustrious kings of this world, who once ruled the entire earth planet. And according to him, this planet, which was previously known as Ilābrita-varsha, became known as Bharatvarsha. So we can see how exalted a personality he was. And he was also the son of an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was the son of Rishabdev, an incarnation of empowered incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it described that how Bharat Maharaj, after ruling the kingdom for many, many years, he retired. This is the Vedic culture. Everyone at some point in time needs to retire from his family life. Whether he is a king or an ordinary householder. One must retire because someday we all have to leave this planet. And when we leave this planet, we should be free from all attachments. Vedic culture actually teaches us how to become detached from material attachment. Material attachments keep us in this material nature. So much so that at the time of death, if we have any single attachment, we'll have to come back. And Bharat Maharaja's story is very nicely describing that possibility. Bharat Maharaj was a king, not only an ordinary king, he was the king of the entire earth planet. He was the ruler of the entire earth planet, including the ocean. Not only the land part, he was also the ruler of the ocean of this planet. And he left his kingdom and he went to the forest. On the bank of the Gandaki river, he settled his ashram. Thus, when one would retire like that, he would go to the forest and select a nice spot in a holy place. That is what they would always make it a point. They would go to some holy place on the bank of a holy river. Gandaki is a river where the Shaligram appears. And on the bank of the Gandaki river, he created his tapoban. Tapoban means a garden in the middle of the forest for performing spiritual activities. He was in the forest, but he created a nice garden with flowering trees for worshipping the Lord, fruit trees, and simple but very conducive to spiritual activities, far from the madding crowd. And Bharat Maharaj just became absorbed in Krishna consciousness. He reached the stage of bhava, just a stage before prema. The stage of prema is the stage of spiritual perfection. Prema pumartha mahan. So he reached the stage of experiencing spiritual emotion in his loving relationship with Krishna. But although he was in that stage, constantly serving Krishna, thinking about Krishna, remembering Krishna, and at that stage, one day when Bharat Maharaj was meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord, he saw that a mother deer became afraid of the sound of a roaring lion. And out of fear, she tried to jump across the river. And she fell, and the baby deer got carried away in the river water. And she died. So Bharat Maharaj rescued that newborn baby deer. And he considered that this orphan doesn't really have anyone to take care, so he started to take care of that deer. And in course of that, he became attached to the deer. That is how involving this illusory energy of the Lord is, Maya. He left everything. He left his kingdom, he left his queens, he left his children, he left his wealth, he left his comfortable life, left everything, came to the forest, cultivating his Krishna consciousness. Yet, at such an advanced stage, he became attached to the deer. And as a result of that, anyway, that will come afterwards, like But here we are seeing how attached he became to the deer. And the deer, that is the thing, like our attachment often is not, or rather often is reciprocal. We find the object of attachment is so alluring, so alluring. Not only the mother finds her baby to be so attractive. Not only the husband finds his wife to be so attractive. Not only a friend finds his friend to be so attractive. Even a little deer can appear to be so attractive. Like the activities of the deer, sometimes the deer would just playfully go into the forest, and Bharat Maharaj would become so concerned because the forest is full of wild animals, and often these innocent animals like deers become victims of the carnivorous animals. And so he would be afraid, oh, did some lion or tiger attack it, killed it. And in this way, Bharat Maharaj became concerned about the deer. And when the deer would just dance in front of him in its childish way, playfully, Bharat Maharaj would think, oh, this deer is so beautiful. His heart would just go towards the deer. And here is another description. Bharat Maharaj arranged all the paraphernalia for the worship to the Lord and placed it on a banana leaf plate. And then the deer would come, would start to bite the leaf plate. And that's how he would pollute the thing. Because the offering of the Lord shouldn't be touched by anything, anybody, especially by mouth. And Bharat Maharaj would get upset and just chastise him and push him away. And at that time what the deer would do? Deer would recognize, oh, my master has chastised me, he is upset now. What did I do wrong that you chastise me like this? And the deer would sit down, that little deer would sit down motionless, as if he is upset. Why did you chastise me? And to Bharat Maharaj, that silent situation of the deer sitting there motionlessly would appear like a ṛṣi-kumār, the son or a disciple of a rishi, sage. Like in his meditation, he sits motionless. So that is how he saw this little deer. And in this way, Bharat Maharaj started to get attached to the deer. And as a result of that, at the time of death, Bharat Maharaj thought of this deer. And as a result of that, Bharat Maharaj got a body of a deer. Jang jang bapi smaran bhavam tajattante kalevaram. With whatever thought one leaves his body, accordingly he gets his next body. According to one's attachment, actually the point here is that the last thought at the time of death, the last thought will be where our deepest attachment is. Therefore we should be very careful where we develop our real attachments. Because at the time of death, that is how it will work. We have two bodies. We have two material bodies. One is a gross material body and the other the subtle material body. And as we act, accordingly the subtle material body takes its shape. As we develop our attachment, accordingly the subtle body takes its shape. And in Bharat Maharaja's case, it becomes so clear, like we can see, apparently his subtle material body was free from all other influence. But this attachment, just little attachment, became so predominant that actually the subtle material body took the shape of a deer. And that's what happens. According to our karma, according to our actions, the subtle material body takes its shape. And after we leave the body, this gross body, the gross body dies, subtle body doesn't die. The subtle body carries the soul to the next body. Mother Nature actually makes that arrangement. Accordingly, Mother Nature puts that living entity in an appropriate womb. So, and as a result of that, Bharat Maharaj, whose subtle body already took the shape of a deer, was placed in the womb of a deer. And he got the body of a deer. But fortunately, this is another lesson. One lesson we learned from Bharat Maharaj's anecdote is that as we develop our attachment, accordingly we will get our next body. And the other thing that we learn also from this is that the spiritual advancement that one makes doesn't go in vain. That remains. Bharat Maharaj's spirit soul was very advanced, but unfortunately he got another material body, the body of a deer. But although in the body of a deer, he remembered all his past life. He was a jatismar. Jatismar means one who can remember his past life. So Bharat Maharaj could remember what actually happened, how he got a deer body. Therefore he didn't want to make any mistake again. He didn't want to develop any attachment to anybody. And he, soon after his birth, he left the association of his mother and other deers. And he went to the ashram of saintly persons. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Prahlad Nrsimhadev ki Jai. He left his mundane association and went to the saintly association, even as a deer. Of course, he couldn't express itself. He couldn't express himself, but he would just sit there when the sadhus would discuss about Krishna, discuss on Krishna conscious topics. He would just silently sit there and listen. And then, in this way, he stayed in the deer body, but then he got the pure devotee's body. And that is, he was born in a Brahminical family, as Jaro Bharat. But there also Bharat Maharaj started to act as if he was retarded. As if he didn't have any intelligence, he was stupid, he couldn't speak, he didn't he started to act like that, a retarded person. But this life was the perfect life of a pure devotee. So this is how we see how Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us the perfect understanding of how we should act and how we shouldn't act. When we see things in the light of these instructions from Srimad Bhagavatam, we see how dangerously people are living now. How dangerously people are living. We see that people are becoming so fond of dogs. And they don't realize that although they think that a dog is a man's best friend, but that is leading them to a dangerous situation of being born as a dog in their next lives. And in a way the dogs are very attractive. They respond very nicely. The other day I was with the cows and I was seeing the difference between the cows and the dogs. The cows actually don't show any reciprocation so much. Even you're patting, sometimes they do, but not just for a short while. The cows love to be tickled here under their chin or in their neck. But otherwise they don't show any kind of attachment. Whereas a dog is so attractive. When you come home, the dog jumps, shows so much love for you. When I was young, I used to be very fond of dogs. Like, we always had dogs at the house. And it's very, I was thinking, actually, when I was with the cows and I was seeing the difference between the dogs and the cows. So, people find dogs to be very attractive, but they do not recognize that this attachment can lead them to such a dangerous situation. And even if we don't go to that far, to that extent, we see how people are becoming attached to so many things. Like one very common thing is grandfathers becoming attached to grandchildren. They naturally feel that attraction. The children are very attractive. And we naturally develop our attachments. That is why there is such a need of detaching ourselves at some point. That is why in the Vedic culture there is the Vanaprastha order. The Vedic culture is so scientific. Beginning of life, they are getting the training how to be detached through brahmachari life. No attachment at all. So brahmacharis are extreme. In a brahmachari life, teachers want to become detached. And then he is allowed, okay, fine. After completing that phase of life, now you can enter into household life. And in household life, he is allowed to develop attachments or get involved. And that involvement naturally results into various attachments. They get married, naturally they get attached to the wives. One gets attached to his wife. Then comes children. Then this attachment takes another shape. And this is how it goes on and on and on. Therefore, the Vedic culture is panchashardhe banang brojet. 25, 50 years, children are grown up, okay, leave home. Go to the forest to detach yourself. Of course, nowadays it's not possible to go to the forest and live there. We are not actually used to that kind of lifestyle, but at least the arrangements are there that one can move into the temple. It's a different kind of forest. It's a different kind of one. It's not a tapovan, it is Vrindavan. And in the temple one learns how to develop one's attachment to Krishna. That is the ultimate attachment. And when we develop our attachment to Krishna, then we can become free from our material attachments. Material attachments are based on sense gratification. Sense gratification means whatever is pleasing to our senses, we become attracted to that. Some form is pleasing to our eyes, we become attracted to that. And this way our senses lead to different attachments. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch. We develop various attachments, but all those material attachments are based on these senses. Or mind, gross body or subtle body. But the real attachment should be to Krishna. Because that is where we naturally should be attracted to. Because we are part of Him. Therefore we have to be attached to Him. The problem is when we become attached to somebody, something other than Krishna, that is Maya. Attachment to Krishna is natural because we are His parts. Therefore we must be attached to Him. Like this finger is a part of my body. If this finger gets cut off, what do we try to do? Immediately do we throw it away? The cut off finger? No, we try to keep this finger attached to the body. We go to the doctor immediately and start making all kinds of arrangements to keep it attached because it's a part of the body. And if it is separated from the body, it doesn't have any value. But because it's a part, it should be attached to the body. That's His natural constitution. Similarly, since we are parts and parcels of Krishna, we should be attached to Him. And there lies our perfection. The ultimate perfection of our existence is in our attachment to Krishna. And when we are attached to Krishna, then our life is perfect. Our existence is full of meaning. The trouble starts when we become detached from Krishna. And being detached from Krishna, because we are conscious beings, we try to get everything that we need to get by being attached to Krishna. Like Krishna is Satchidananda, because we are parts and parcels of Krishna, we are also Satchidananda. But the problem begins when we try to get our Satchidananda situation through this body. When we want to make this body Satchidananda, this body eternal. this body full of knowledge, this body full of joy, never works. And that is what Maya actually is. Trying to make this body Satchidananda, make this body spiritual. This body can never become spiritual. This body is material. In order to become spiritual, in order to regain our spiritual identity, we have to become situated in our spiritual situation. And that happens when you become connected to Krishna. Simple process. The other spiritualists try to achieve that when they try to achieve that without being attached to Krishna, then they run into trouble. It never works. It will never work. And they try to, there are bhuktikami, muktikami, siddhikami. In the initial stage, people try to enjoy the material nature and get all these spiritual qualities through material involvement. It doesn't work. When they realize that it's not working, then they want to become liberated from material bondage. And they perform various austerities and penances to become free from material attachments. And they think that by being free from material attachments, they will get their spiritual qualities. That also doesn't work. The yogis think that by achieving yogic perfection, they will achieve it. It doesn't work. The only thing that works is our simple, loving relationship with Krishna. It's a simple process, which begins with surrender, sharanagati. All we have to do is just surrender to Krishna. Then Krishna will take care of the rest. Krishna will lead us to become connected to Him because Krishna wants us to be connected to Him. So if we sincerely surrender ourselves to Krishna, Krishna will take care of the rest. That's how simple the process is. Like if a millionaire's son who has become separated from his father, when he goes back to the father, does he separately have to make millions? Or he inherits his father's million? Naturally, he inherits his father's assets. So similarly, when we surrender to Krishna, we inherit these spiritual qualities. When we surrender to Krishna, we naturally become free from our material attachments and develop our attachment to Krishna. That is how simple this process is. Especially the way Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave it to us. Sankirtan, just chanting the holy name of the Lord. And Nityananda Prabhu is giving the assurance. Jatheshtang re bhrato kudu hari hari dhana manisham. My dear brothers, just chant the holy name of the Lord. Tato ba samsaram buddhi tarano dayo moi laget. Then I will be responsible. Moi laget. Tarano dayo responsibility to go across this material nature. I will take you across this ocean of material nature. That is the assurance Nityananda Prabhu is giving. You simply chant the holy name and I will take care of the rest. I will take you to Krishna. That's the assurance Nityananda Prabhu is giving. I will take you to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Prabhupada came and gave this, not only gave it to us, he gave it to the people all over the world. He made the arrangement to spread this movement all over the world. And as the time passes, more and more people will become attracted to Krishna consciousness, to Prabhupada's teachings. And we have to situate them properly in Krishna consciousness movement. That is the responsibility that the devotees have. People will become attracted, and now we have to place them properly in their spiritual life. We shouldn't think, oh, he has joined fine. Yeah, he is chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles. No, we have to, that is the beginning, but we have to make them fixed up in their spiritual life. That's why there is a need for preaching. Devotees must preach. Preach to them, to make them devotees. And after they become devotees, preach to them, to secure them in their spiritual life. That is why Prabhupada made this arrangement of Bhagavatam classes, Bhagavad Gita classes. Through these classes we become fixed up, we get the understanding, the importance of spiritual life. So now that you have come to this wonderful platform of Krishna consciousness, become fixed up, take care of your spiritual life and help others to also make spiritual advancement. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Does anybody have any question, comment? Bhashakosh Prabhu.
The story of Bhagavatam shows that even a great devotee can make a mistake. I'm sorry. I'm not referring to you personally.
No, it's all right.
Like we experienced in Mayapur last month, a mistake was made. Yesterday, we had a meeting in Peru with an old devotee who, I would say, mistakenly was thrown out of the temple. And because of that, he said, I hold no grudge, but actually he has a huge grudge, the size of, Mount Everest, against this guy. And somebody made the mistake of kicking him out, really probably for no fault of his own. Privately, I'll tell you some other things. But mistakes by a great devotee or any devotee can be made. Even the Bhagavatam, if you read the history of Prabhupada, he wanted to work with his god brothers, but they didn't want to work with him. That was a mistake on their part. Look what Prabhupada did. He inspired so many people. And, I told that devotee yesterday. I said that we're all going to pass away. And in the future, it was a question of property. The ISKCON movement is going to go on. Maybe somebody made a mistake. Maybe many people made a mistake. To err is human. To forgive is divine. This is an English expression. It's not in Shastra, as I understand. But we may make mistakes. But Prabhupada somehow, you can distinguish it from the Gaudiya Math because it did a lot more to spread, the mission of Mahaprabhu. So these mistakes have been going on since the time of Maharaja. It's not that, Bharat was...
Yeah, but they're not of the same nature.
Oh yeah. Right. But I mean,
Bharat Maharaj is...
Even Brahma made a mistake, isn't it? He chased after his daughter. Isn't that the Bhagavatam? So it's not like if there's a mistake made, we should just leave.
But the thing is, that actually, I just responded in that way because like we have a big responsibility to create the right atmosphere in ISKCON, so that it continues for generations after generations. Like if the mistake is sets a wrong example, it is our responsibility to correct it.
That's a really good point, because there's a lot of, nowadays communication has become, I remember when I first came to India, you were talking earlier how, I came to India in 1974, and to make a telephone call, you had to book a call. 8 hours to get the call from Bombay. 8 hours you had to wait. And when you got the call, you'd say, hello! You couldn't hear. There was an ordinary call, there was an urgent call, and there was a lightning call. You remember these days? Nobody here. Now it's so easy to communicate. I've been talking about this, I forgot the point. There was a point I was going to make about communication. So,
now the communication has become so easy.
It's become so easy. So, there's some of our God brothers have introduced concepts that are in contradiction to what Prabhupada taught. So there's another institution. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called āste. It's in the United States. And it's some barhiṣi went to America, probably before Prabhupada, and he got a small following. And the Sikhs, they have, what is it, the mispronunciation of Sanskrit words. Ek Omkar became Ekakar, Punjabi. Right? Like Christian, they say Christian Bhagavatam. So now the guru of this Ekakar is His Holiness Harold Lamp. Prabhupada gave us foreigners, even Indians, a new name. That's part of Vaishnava Diksha. He changed our dress. But as you know, one of our prominent God brothers is saying that this dress is mundane. So he wants ISKCON to be like Ekakar, without saying. But he actually come out with this latest statement that there are two types of Buddhists in the West. There are Asian Buddhists. There's a lot of Thais. I know in Los Angeles, there's a lot of people from Thailand. They're all Buddhists. And Dina Babu, who recently went to Sri Lanka, it's a land of Buddhists. And even the Chinese and the Japanese, half of Japan is Buddhist. Half of them worship the ancestors, which is Hindu. So this, our God is now saying, in the United States, these Asian Buddhists, they go to their own temples. And then there's a lot of converts. Allen Ginsberg, who helped Prabhupada a lot in the very early days. A lot means he lent his notoriety to Prabhupada. As you know, he used to do programs with Prabhupada. Nobody knew who was Swami Prabhupada or Bhakti-Vedanta Swami, but Allen Ginsberg was a big name in the United States, especially among the youth. And he lent his name, he did kirtan, he had a harmonium, but he actually became a Buddhist. The story is like that. Buddhism is, we all know it's materialism, it's atheism, Shunyavadi. And then there's a lot of Americans, there's another very famous actor in currently, Richard Gere, who was a disciple of the Dalai Lama. I read half of the biography of the Dalai Lama, I can't remember where I got it. And I read half of it, and the Dalai Lama is a non-vegetarian, not a vegetarian. So there are a lot of Westerners that become Buddhists, and they have their own temples, and they have their own type of worship. And so our God brothers and we should have like this. But then why did Prabhupada tell us to wear dhotis and eat rice dal chapati sabji, although food isn't the main thing? But, why adopt Indian culture?
Yeah, so that's why the leaders of ISKCON has to protect ISKCON from all those onslaughts. And you're seeing it's being dealt with. I mean,
otherwise it becomes sahaji.
Right. Deviation is so, deviation can be such a dangerous threat to and it happened. And that's why during Mahaprabhu's time, what happened, or after Mahaprabhu, not Mahaprabhu's time, what I meant is, after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it should be the lesson for us to learn from. Because, deviation, how it comes, all these Sahaja Sampradayas, they actually started by big leaders of that time.
I read a day or two back, Prabhupada was invited to a kirtan program in Calcutta, where there were all the owls and owls and all the, Sahaja Sampradayas. So Prabhupada asked his disciples, should I go? So the disciples said, no, Prabhupada, they're all Sahajis. He said, yes, this is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Like that. He didn't go.
Right. No compromise. That's why, again, as you said, like one should be compassionate and merciful, but at the same time we should be cautious about, how that compassion is displayed. If there is a deviation, then, it should be dealt with properly. Right. Yeah, right, exactly. Like people may use that same reasoning that, oh, you all are Vaishnava, why aren't you showing your compassion? The compassion should be displayed at the right place, not at the wrong place, because then, that will flourish.
Now there's a trend in the West where they tell devotees, if you want to come to the program, don't wear your dhoti, don't put on a tiba. You heard this thing. It's funny, yesterday one devotee in Baroda, he's a Grihastha from a Brahmin family. So he said, my sister has invited me to her son's Brahmin ceremony in Saurashtra. Actually the history was where we are, Ahmedabad, Baroda, Surat was a jungle. Nobody lived there. Everyone lived in Saurashtra. If you read in Shastras, the Saraswati River flowed to Saurashtra. All the people lived in Saurashtra. So they said, but you can only come if you don't cut your hair, if you keep hair, and if you wear a pant shirt. To a Brahmin itself. These are, Brahmins by caste. This is what's happening.
Well, anyway, we have Ashutosh Prabhu, so we are safe. No, actually, you're a very prominent voice when it comes to upholding the Vedic culture. Thank you, Ashutosh Prabhu. Just take a few questions here. One from Giriraj Das, Gurgaon. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for an enlightening class. Guru Maharaj, even when we have information that Krishna is a real maintainer of everyone, yet even after so many years in Krishna consciousness, most of the time I still act as a controller and maintainer of my family. Please help me, how can I develop the consciousness to see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna and take my role as a service? Yeah, like it is not that because you are depending upon Krishna, now you should give the responsibility of maintaining your family also to Krishna. Now, when you are a householder, you have to take the responsibility of maintaining your family. Only thing that you have to change your attitude. Instead of thinking that it is your family, you have to think it's Krishna's family. But maintenance part is there for you. Just as a temple president has the responsibility to maintain the temple, taking care of the devotees, in a smaller way, in your household temple, as the temple president, you have the responsibility to take care of all the members of the temple. Thank you, Guru. Yeah, and that way, Giriraj, don't act as a controller, but act as a caretaker. And maintain them with to the best of your ability. Krishna Kishore Das from Pune. Dear Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam, it is said that attachment to devotees is perfection. However, sometimes I see how my friendship with some devotees tend to become materially motivated, and I become attached to them just based on external, like behavior, appearance, etc. How to overcome the alluring attachments developing due to such relationships with the material outlook towards devotees? Well, the attraction can be based on material aspects. Say, for example, we see the deities in the temple. Like, to a newcomer, he may think, oh, the deities are so beautiful. Like, they may become attracted to the artistic part of the deity, how beautifully it has been carved. But as he makes advancement, then his attraction takes him to higher level. We first may become attracted to the beauty of the deity, but then we get to know who they are. Are they just some carved statues? Prabhupada is making that point. That why millions of people are coming to the temple? Just to see the carved statue? Or they are coming here to see Krishna? So that is the understanding. That material aspect is there, but gradually we transcend that material aspect and come to the spiritual aspect. Yes, Krishna is all attractive. Krishna is most beautiful. There is no doubt about that. But that attraction is for Krishna. As long as it is for Krishna, it is all right. Similarly, as you were saying, your attachment to devotees, devotees' attitude, devotees' behavior, devotees' appearance. Yes, if you are appreciating that, that's a good thing, because you are appreciating a devotee. While others may think that these shaved head people look so strange. If you think that these devotees with shaved head and tilak are so beautiful, that's wonderful. That is spiritual appreciation. In whichever we appreciate a devotee is spiritually beneficial. So it's already 9:05, so I won't take any more question. If you have any question, keep it, we'll answer later on. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. And those devotees, some words to some, I won't say instruction, I may put it as some request to the local devotees. Please take care of the visiting devotees very nicely. Okay? How many local devotees are here? How many visiting devotees are here? Okay, very good. And lot more will come, so take care of them very nicely. As if they have come to your house. When a guest comes to your house, how do you take care? There's a big face in Radha Vinod's face. Big smile in Radha Vinod's face. So he is always happy to receive guests. So similarly, with a big smile, you receive the visiting devotees. And make their stay in Ujjain so memorable that they will always think, when I am going to come back to Ujjain and settle here. Thank you. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.